Now this is the Redcat Ascent-32. It's a 32nd scale mini 4x4 rock crawler that's a fully hobby grade upgradable truck. And the best part is it's only $80. So today we're gonna check out the truck, test its capabilities, and then we'll compare it to the new SCX30 that came out recently and see which one comes out on top. You want to win some AMain Hobbies store credit? Because we're giving away $100 every week. All you have to do is sign up with the QR code on the back of this voucher that we're putting in every order you make. Now inside the box we got the transmitter. It's pretty basic. It says it's the RTX32 with a steering trim, dual rate, a channel 3 on-off switch, and that's about it. Got an instruction manual, of course, a USB style battery charger. It is for a 1S LiPo only. There's also some body posts included if you want to change out the body. And the last thing included in the box, of course, is the Ascent-32. And this thing is glorious and looks just like the bigger brother, the Ascent-18, which is a phenomenal performing truck. Now, speaking of the box, you can see here some of the info. 32nd scale, 4-wheel drive. It's brushed, 2.4 gigahertz on that transmitter. Our battery here is a 300 milliamp hour single cell. We also have a clipless body system. It looks just like the system on the 18th scale. We also have straight axles with a 4-link suspension, servo on the axle, battery and charger included. On the top, it mentions again the clipless, and then right here, ball bearings used throughout. That is really awesome to see. On the side, we have 4 different colors. We have the graphite. The other side just tells us what's included: the truck, the radio, the battery, the charger, and then you're gonna need to supply your own AA's for the transmitter. Now looking at the truck, this is a Lexan body. It looks like it's the same body style as the Ascent-18. Look at that. Yeah, that is darn near the exact same body. It's just been shrunken down into 32nd form. And 32nd scale, you can see our wheelbases are massively different. And just for some rough measurements, it looks like our length is about 5 3/4 inches. Wheelbase is just over 4 inches. And then our width is about 3 3/4 inches. Now to pop the body off, we just kind of rotate this little thumb screw that's on the back. And the rear end hinges up. You push forward, it just disengages. Super simplistic body inside, couple little plastic pieces for the mounting, and then the chassis. Look at this thing. It looks just like your traditional crawler setup with our frame rails that look like they are steel or some sort of aluminum anodized black, plastic bracing back here, a mount in the center that's got our ESC and receiver system. It says it's the R32, 2-in-1 receiver and ESC. And then right in front of that is our transmission with this big old brushed motor. It's pushed really far forward inside the truck. That is a pretty beefy motor though. Our 300 milliamp hour battery is located up front with a little Velcro strap that's sitting on another plastic brace. We've got a little front plastic bumper, a little plastic rear bumper, and then we've got plastic steering links. Our servo sitting on top of that axle with a plastic horn. Look at these mini axles. Those are rad. Metal drive shafts inside there. Now on the bottom it is 4-link suspension. They are plastic links, plastic center drive shafts, skid plate, rock guards on the side. And for our shocks, they look like they're fully plastic shocks with a metal red cap on the top, and they are springy. I don't think there's any oil inside those. Now let's try to turn it on really quick. Just plug the battery right into the unit, and then our on switch. Servo seems really nice. And for throttle, all right, give it a turn to the left. Seems just a little chattery in the front end, trying to turn at the extreme angles, but it's not really too bad. Now we're gonna test this truck, but before we do, check this out. Redcat sent us a bunch of these Endura brass parts. These are front knuckles, diff covers, shocks with an extra set of springs included, and hardware. I imagine that these are capable of being oil filled. They are threaded body. These would be a huge improvement over the stock shocks. Here's a set of metal suspension links, a brass skid plate with hardware, and then a metal steering link. All those brass parts would help increase some of the weight down low Bronco, lowering the center of gravity and helping the truck increase its lean angle and then of course its climbing angle. They're not things that you need to do, but some of them can definitely increase and boost performance. So let's test the truck in its stock form, and then we'll add a few of these option parts to see how much of a difference they make. And as we're testing it, we'll compare its results to the SCX30 Ford Bronco. Now, as a side note, look at the size differences between these trucks. Axial says this is 30th scale, this is 32nd, yet the Redcat looks substantially bigger, especially with those bigger tires. Its stance, its proportions just look a bit larger. I think the Axial also looks more realistic. This is also a hard plastic body where this is Lexan. And then underneath, the Bronco has some really nice details like the wheel wells. The on-off switch is integrated into the rock guard on the side. It has that spare tire, mirrors, door handles, wiper. There's a lot of really cool little scale details on this truck. All right, on the corner weight scale system, we've got about 146 grams total. The Bronco was 140, so just a tiny bit heavier. In the front, we've got a 56 front weight bias though. That is impressive. That's 5% more than the Bronco. Left and right, perfect 50-50. Beautiful. Turning radius to the left. And what are we at? About 19.5 inches. And turning radius to the right. And we're at about 24 inches. So here's a climb angle test, and we're starting it off at about 53 degrees. So 53 degrees happens to be the maximum climbing angle of the Ford Bronco. Oh my goodness. Let's give it a little help. No. Backing the board down to 52. All right, it does 52. 52 and a half. So we'll help it here again. Oh, okay. If I can be smoother on the throttle, I think it's got this. It's got a little problem though. Just this initial lip does not like. If I remember right, I helped out the Ford Bronco too. I'm trying to be super smooth on that throttle. Ooh, okay. Maybe 52 degrees is this limit. Oh. So 52 and a half versus 53 degrees is so close. So 52 and a half versus 53 degrees is super close. Let's test the lean angle now, and that's just over 51 degrees. Nope, 46 and a half. Nope, 43 degrees. 44 and a half. So the Ascent-32 was a half a degree off of the Bronco for the climb angle, but it gains 7 degrees for the lean angle, which is a significant improvement and probably more significant than losing a half a degree of climb. Now these two trucks are pocket-sized mini crawlers, but this isn't an exact apples to apples comparison. The Axial looks more scale realistic, it has more details, it looks like a real truck, and it costs a little bit more too. It still performs pretty dang well, but its main emphasis is to look realistic. The Ascent-32 isn't officially licensed. It's not designed to mimic any real truck out there, although to some this actually may look more cool. The truck is designed for more performance than looks though, and it's a bit less expensive. And at the time of filming this video, there's already upgrades available for the Ascent-32, where I don't think there's anything for the SCX30. Now both of these trucks are great trucks. They just offer two different things, whether you want raw performance or raw realism. We've seen how the truck performs out of the box. Now let's add some brass upgrades. And first are going to be these diff covers. Now putting these on is super easy. There's a screw on the top and the bottom of the diff cover. You pop those out using an 050 driver and the plastic case comes right off. On the scale, plastic cover is 0.4 tenths of a gram. and that's 2.5. There's also different hardware included. It's the same size screws. They're just a different color, so they're gonna have a different contrast pop against the black pieces. The next item we're gonna add are the front brass knuckles. These, I can tell, are heavier than the diff covers, and these will offset some more weight to the front, which should give us better climbing performance. We've got even more upgrades here that would be great, but we're just pressed on time right now. But I think these shocks with some oil inside would be the next best thing to do. So we finished installing those knuckles off camera, and we've got a 161 weight difference. That's what, an extra 15 grams or so. 50-50 still on the left and right side, but 59% in the front, an extra 3% over the stock configuration. Now, what does that mean for our climbing performance? Well, we can only do 52.5 degrees previously. Here's 53. $53.5. So previously we can only do a 44.5 degree lean angle. Here is 45. 45.5. 46. 46.5. So pretty good improvement by only adding 2 upgrade parts. You could push performance even further by adding more. So one of the coolest things about this truck is that it's just super tiny. I mean, it's micro-sized, and we've already got 18 scale trucks, which are pretty tiny too, but this is even smaller. So, I mean, where to play with it? The sky's kind of the limit. It's great indoors, but you could use it outdoors too. But I think indoors is really where it excels. And crawling here is just inside our lab over tools, just random stuff on our workbench. And we found ourselves trying a line over and over and over again until we could get it. What started as, let's get a shot of doing this, became an actual competitive thing that we were trying to achieve. And when you're playing with a larger crawler outside, making an obstacle course, setting up some challenging terrain, it requires a lot more work. You're dealing with bigger stuff, heavy rocks, things like that. And once you make a course, it kind of stays that way for a while. But with this little truck, or just little trucks in general, playing inside, your obstacles and terrain are small and lightweight, and you can switch it up really easily. I think which is one of the coolest things about little trucks, is how you can invent your own environment to drive them in. And whether you're doing it on a desk, on a keyboard, or you've got some furniture or bean bags to play on, or driving on your couch and over TV remotes, I mean, really, the sky is the limit to whatever you want to drive on. We use the Seesaw, which is a wooden obstacle made by UDI. And UDI makes quite a few little micro obstacle courses, which are really cool. And we actually used all 4 of them in the Bronco video, but we just used the Seesaw in this video. The Seesaw is awesome. It's my favorite thing. And it was really cool to use that Seesaw as a bridge from the chair to the coffee table, from the coffee table to the couch. I mean, however you want to do it. Playing outside, of course, is always fun when weather permits and you're in the right environment, but the conditions inside are super controlled, and there's so much that you can do with that. And the Ascent-32 is an excellent way to do it. So I think it's a fantastic little truck. It performs excellent out of the box. It's only $80, so this is a truck that everybody could afford. You can upgrade it to make it even better, and it's just amazing. So